In this video, we're going to look at work orders. So they live in the manufacturing grouping over here. We can come into work orders, see the existing ones in the system, or we can generate a new work order from here. There are also a couple of other ways that we can create a work order. So if I come into inventory here and expand it, I can come into products and come and select some products that I manufacture and then use the link here to generate work orders for them. I can also do the same from the stocks tab and go and select products and then go and generate a work order for them. On the sales side, if I put a manufactured item on an order, I'll also be able to generate a work order directly from the sales order. And that has the benefit that we're going to have a nice clean link between the work order and the sales order so that we can click through to either one and quickly see the status of either from the other. So in this case, I'm going to go and add the manufactured product brownies, and I'm also going to put them on back order. So in the system at the moment, I've got 117 available. So that I can manufacture them, I'm going to go and throw them into back order here. So once I hit save and close, the system recognizes that this is a manufactured product and I don't want to use my existing stock. Therefore, I need to go and manufacture the brownies. So clicking on generate here, then I can choose work order, confirm that I'd like to proceed, and then if I have multiple bills of materials set up for the brownies, I can go and pick which one I'd like to use in this instance. So I've only got one here, so it's nice and easy. Once I click OK, we'll see that I've now been given a work order tab on my sales order. So I can come here, the system's created a work order for me, I can click here to access it. On my work order, I've also got a link to the sales order so that I can get back there really quickly. So let's go ahead and proceed with this work order. So clicking here will take me through to the work order, which is also going to show in this manufacturing and work orders area, which is where we are now. So the system has calculated, based on the information contained in the bill of material, the number of cycles that need to run in order to create the number of brownies that I need for this order, which is 50. It will also calculate the total time for production. So what I need to do now is come and check that all my items are correct. So I can see my input items. If my bill of material is adjustable, I'll be able to go and make changes to them here. So I could change the quantity, I could be out of a particular type of flour and go and substitute it with another one. I can also add additional ingredients here and link them to one of my production steps and choose a quantity. So I've got the ability to manipulate my input products. I can also go and check my output products at this point, add additional ones, or make changes here to the quantity. I can also review the production steps. If I've set up my bill of materials to use resources, this is where I need to go and tell the system to select the resource that I want to use for production. And as we looked at before, I've got the sales tab. Now it's important to note that you need to give the system all the information it needs to start the work order. So that means if you have batch or serial number tracking set up on your input or output products, you need to give those to the system first so that it knows which stock it's going to use for production. If you've specified that resources need to be used, you'll also need to go and select them before you'll be able to start the order. But the system will run a check for you. So if I click on Start here, the system will warn me if there's anything missing, so if it needs additional information. So in this case, I haven't specified an oven. So I can come into the Resources area here and specify which oven I'm going to use for production and hit Save, and now the system's got what it wants. Before I start the order, I can also come in and make notes. I can click here on the Preview button and open up the PDF in a new tab, so I can quickly print that out or refer to it. What I can also do is edit the work order. So maybe I'd like to assign this to a particular team or to a member of a team. So in this case, I'll pick on the warehouse team. I can hit Save and Close, and I could also add any additional production notes if I needed to, and then regenerate the PDF. Once I hit Start, what the system will do is go and commit the input products, the stock required for this particular order. So it's basically putting a hold on that so that we can't accidentally go and sell them 2 or 3 times. The system has also gone and applied a time and date stamp up here. So it's gone and updated the start date to align with when I hit on the Start button. Based on the number of cycles and the duration of production here, the system has also calculated exactly how long it's going to take to complete the production. So it's gone and populated those automatically. And we can see here, depending on the production steps that I have set up in my bill of material, it's going to show me which steps are active at this point in time. So once production is finished, I can hit on the complete button. At that point, what will happen is CRM will reduce the stock of all my input products by the quantities I'm using and go and increase the stock of the output products for the product that I'm manufacturing. If I want to cancel production and release the hold that the system has on my input products, I can just hit the cancel button here. Or once production is finished, I'll hit the complete button here, and now that has put my brownies into stock. So what I can do at this point is come back to my linked sales order, click here and come back to the order. So we can see that those brownies, the system knows that they've been produced on that work order. So it's taken them off back order, and now I'm ready to go and ship or invoice my order quickly from here. If we come into work orders, let's look at what else we can do while we're in this area. So you can see that we've got a couple of options up here. So what I can do is select work orders and then go and print them in bulk. So this is going to save me going in and out of each order to go and generate a PDF document. So I've just done that for multiple records with a couple of clicks. I could also go and do a search here in the status area for any of the orders that aren't started. I can then go and select them here and go and start them in bulk up here. So just bear in mind that in order to start it, as we saw before, we need to make sure that the system has all the required information. So batch, serial numbers, and resources if applicable. I can also go and quickly delete orders in bulk from here or clear my filter. Now what we're going to want to do in this area is have a number of different filters set up so that we can quickly segment our orders. So in this case, I'm going to create a filter for my orders that aren't started so that I can have a nice clean view. I'm going to tick to share this with my colleagues, and I'm going to go and use the status field and say that it must equal not started. So once I've done that, I can hit the OK button, and now I have a clean list of my orders that haven't started. So anytime I want to see that, I can come and bring up the list. I can also go and create a list here to show me all of my completed orders, share that with my colleagues, use the status field and say that that must equal completed, and hit OK. So now I can build up a list of filters that are going to make it really easy to work with these every day. As well as using filters, we can also create different layouts. So in this case, we've got a range of information here, and we can manipulate the columns that are added to our view. So I could go and get rid of the completed date and basically hide that from the view. I can click here and go and select the column chooser, and maybe I'd like to see the bill of material and whether or not it's adjustable, and add that to my view. I can then also go and select from different types of fields and add those into my view. So once I've updated that, I can see that I've got my information here, so the two new columns that I specified. I can go and drag and drop columns into new positions so that I can see what I'm looking at quickly. So in this case, I'll move the bill of material adjustable column over here so that it's more prominent. Once I'm happy with that layout, what I can do is go and save that permanently. So I might call this incomplete orders, hit on shared so that my colleagues can see it, and hit OK. So now what I can do is come in of a morning and see which orders have not been started and go and choose my incomplete orders view and have that information easily accessible. Now let's go and have a look at the stock movements that have occurred on the product once we put those brownies into production. So what I can do is come into inventory and go and find the brownies product. So over here on the stock movements tab, we're going to see here that we've built and created those brownies. So in here we can see a full history of the stock movements. So transfers between locations, when it's been sold, when it's been built on a work order. So we can basically come and confirm that the actions have been undertaken in here, where the production location was, how many were created, and on what date that was done. So I can then search that by date and see that I've got a couple of different builds that have come through this afternoon and see a history of them here. So that brings us to the end of work orders. Please also check out our video on bills of material.